Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to talk about the DRDS upgrade, the distributed database. I'm the responsible person of this product in Ali and about this product. On the cloud, we have already developed for many years, and we could trace back to 2008 and 2009. And actually, in 2013, we have been independent from the group, and in 2014, we have released a beta version, and then we have accumulated a large amount of the users. So the demand is actually starting from the Alibaba. We have our private cloud and the public cloud, and all of those users will have different features, but all of these features will share some common points. And in the past few years, I have become extremely resistant to stress and pressures because faced of so many different demands of the users, we will have a lot of pressure. And now we are more clear about the future development direction of the products. And on this slide, we have shown some of our reflect of the product. And on cloud, if you have purchased the DRDS, then you will notice that there are a lot of remarkable nodes and milestones, and you could use My Circle, etc. And the core is the database management, and this is the public database management. And within Ali Group, or the cloud solution, we use the same set of the codes, and we have a collective management system. So the structure is relatively simple. Although it's simple, we can have a very good separation of different resources. So no matter what happened to the other clients, your own database will not be affected. I believe this is very important for managing the databases. And for this project, we have three major scenarios. In the past few years, after cooperating and providing services for so many different clients, we will have different contexts or scenarios for the usage. And in terms of the data, we only have two types. The first one is the net data. For example, where do I want to go on a map? These are the behaviors. And another type of application is that you need to extract the data for other purposes, such as developing the reports or providing the machine learnings. And this is another type of the commercial iteration. So DRDS is more suitable for the first type of the data and the backstage data. And for example, we will have a dedicated practices, and we could add labels to those data and then calculate those data. And we will use other products to run the analysis of those data. And in terms of the deployment of the data, we will have that is in My Circle for the front stage business, and for the backstage services, we could also use My Circle. But we still need support from the other products, and My Circle has the oracles and other sections. So maybe you have a question, what is it exactly? And I'd like to briefly introduce it. And on another session, you could also hear more details. And first of all, there are some inherent features of the storage. And a frequently encountered scenario is that I have 100 data, and you need to construct all types of the plans. And for it, we will randomly have the groupings, and on one block there is a data brick. So For the clustering of the data scope, such as the distinct practices, it will be very responsive. It means that we could have the millisecond level clustering of the large scale of the data, and we have a very good optimization of some of the products. And the fourth feature is that in essence, if we store by queues, then there is a very good compression ratio. It's not only 1 to 2 folds, it may be 10 and even hundreds of the folds. For example, the database can be compressed to 1/100. And in the end, it is based on a MySQL ecosystem. For example, this is the Gaode, and there is a business scenario. The property managers want to select a site, and then they need to focus on some of the features, and there were a lot of bidders, and there are a lot of different features of the clients, and we need to zoom out, and we need to focus on one point, and maybe the scale can be very small or it can be very big, and then you will have a thermal map. So if I want to open a store, then I will select the area with the most red spots. So what is the challenge? As you can see that in Gaode, it has the national data, and it has tens of billions of several trillions of the data. And when you narrow down to a certain small scope, maybe we will have billions and tens of billions of the data. And in this condition, you need a very responsive solution, such as auto buy, group buy, and you need sometimes a very high cost parallel structures to do it, but we want to practice a very low-cost storage solution, and it can offset some of the algorithms or the computings, and the response time can be controlled within 10 seconds, and it can be achieved with our solution. And if the data had reached the DB level or the EB level, then the cost for the data is very important for us. So we hope that we can provide a 1/100 compression ratio, then the cost can be minimized, and this is the core for data. So DRDS had been developed for many years because I started to be engaged in it since 2010, and we have been continuously developing it. So we have been doing the splitting up. So what is the essence of big data? And I believe that in essence, it is based on algorithms of the big data. And we could provide 3 types of data or the storage categories. First one is the online database. And for the online databases, we have 3 features. So in practice, we will only focus on a small amount of the data. Maybe we have tens of billions of the data stored in a database. But in access to those databases, you may not visit all of them, and we only need to select parts of them.
Second, the data has properties, and for B2C business, the data, the coordinator is very good, but some data is for one city, one county, is concentrated. So there are some characteristic of data, and for Mango, for front-end business, and we need to find the main body of the data. And for IoT, according to the operation behavior, it is based on the device. Actually, there are different dimensions. So it evolves about the indexes. You will find you have to specify this because it's related with the business data. And the data can be very evenly distributed, but if you're going to search with the user ID, there will be different dozens of the nodes. And the other way, I can build between the user ID and the ID. So for the distributed system, it's very important, and for If we're going to search by county, I'm going to use the word indexing, or by search by time, by month. It will involve about some concept of splitting. Another type is about the distributed data computation and analysis. I've listed some mainstream calculation and analysis database structure. One is the concurrent computation. There will be different derivatives and also column-oriented or line-oriented. Some of them are in conflict, but most of them can work together to achieve very ideal result. And the last one for resource allocation and separation is very important. Actually, this is also one important thing why these products are running well or bad. Final part is about distributed data storage and file system. I have put some valuable things here. At this level, the data volume is very huge. Maybe the ultimate data of one enterprise, it has very high capacity. Then you need to consider about the cost. And because it's the final, you need to consider about the sharding. These are the things you need to consider. So we need to see from three aspects about the nature of the splitting the data. It's based on the result of the sharding. And with this understanding, for the first half fiscal year, we have made some brand new upgrade. This is just the intermediate things. Later, I'm going to give you some forecast about the second half of this year. First of all, in distributed database and for MySQL, the cloning is very important. For DRDS, how can we clone an instance? It's very important. And it has some very useful features. If I delete a table and recover to a specific time point, I can clone that and source that. The second way is that if you have an online database pressure test, so I just clone that and test it and release that again. And we can have some interesting computation method. So we can use some concurrent computation model. Second, optimization function. We launched that in 2015, but because of the environment and programs, we haven't launched it. And this year in July, we have several improvements with these features, and the procedure will be more reliable. We have some rewriting of the whole tools, and also for the migration performance, it's better. It's better than the past, and reliable increment. And we work together with our sister company DRDS to make the increment more reliable. And then complete check and verification. Then always we are improving our server capability. One key thing is that we want to achieve what single database cannot achieve. From user level to database level, there are many things we can do. Of course, for these edition changes, we have made improvement. This year, in August, Taobao's transaction order splitting method have also been done. And we can search the data from 2 dimensions. So we don't have any problem with data consistency. So this is a typical case. When we search from 2 dimensions, we can get the same data. And in September, we have launched a circle monitoring. In the past, we believe that if the circle has any error, the user has to solve them. But actually, what we want to achieve that when your circle has some problem, either error and what kind of error, and can we give you a complete report? We have launched that at the back end. Later, we're going to open that to the control panel. Another thing is about the instance distribution for our users is very important, and also our starting point for the second half of this year. If we use large spec node, our spend will be better than 1 + 1 = 2. And we want to have better QPS for single node and also will have better stability. When we use some large spec node, maybe in the past it cannot run or it will lead to error, but now it will have better stability. And we have also gathered a lot of large users, and we can solve the problem through large spec nodes. And last one is bigger specification and stronger error tolerance. So we use the Sysbench for standard testing scenario. I don't want to highlight the benchmark capability. It's in linear growth. We have launched several digital products and capability. Our approach is that for the storage, we expand the storage for access, and we can increase the number of machines linearly. So there are no dead ends in your database. This is what we can do now with linear development. For the second half of this year, we not only contacted our customers a lot, we also contacted a lot of merchants. Microsoft is a magical enterprise, and SQL Server is the second or third place. They also have some enterprise services. SQL Server, in the past 5 years, they are doing several things. One is cloud. The second thing is they are doing OLTP, OLAP, hybrid. Third thing, they're doing business intelligence. In the past, we have always been doing cloud. We are also supporting OLTP. We can solve some complex circle that single database cannot solve. How do we do that? SQL Server gives a good solution. Actually, it believes that there's no conflict between 2 workloads. But conventionally, the link should be separated. And there is also one machine and multiple machine mode. And for some of the analysis operation, we believe that the SMP is enough. When we combine with the NVMe GPU, and we can enhance our capability. We say that it is augmented EITB. We will provide 2 instances, or we can separate roles for 1 instance. And we will have IDS MOS. And for these two nodes, there are different ways to address them. One focus more on traffic, and we will go to the extreme for the splitting. On the other hand, and we will add some framework, and on the cloud, we also need to have some resource matching. We believe the entry point is the same. We believe the links are completely isolated. So the pains we're facing is when the workload is, and we also believe that on demand, because we need to identify the different pressure, and we can rely on the optimizer to do this. And then the processing model, there are differences. So this is to enhance the LTP. This will be the future direction. And products, LTP capability product, we have already done that. Second, we'll provide DRDS read-only instance. We did it early. The third one, we can have SQL engines with borders which can match the SQL requirements of the users, and then we have a single machine, concurrent data computing. So we can see that the DRDS is a middleware so that it can be combined into exciting products. I want to make a forecast about what we are going to launch in the second half of this year. We're going to continuously optimize the SQL engine. Second thing, this is a large area of the business template. We will have hotspot mirroring, and we will have DRDS read-only instance, and we will have overall secondary indexing. Another thing is, for the data link, we need to provide the SQL diagnosis and optimization. We also have concurrent computing. We will use GPU, etc., to accelerate that. In the future, we will find the link will be more clearer, and it can also it can make some circles that not run well to be better. Thank you.